My name is Rami Hashish. The company is called the National Biomechanics Institute. We specialize in biomechanics, accident reconstruction, medical analyses, and human factors. I think the best animations are those that are steeped in science. So a lot of the animations won't necessarily be allowed in court, for instance, if they view it purely as kind of like a cartoon or purely as an animation. So it needs to be scientifically validated. So from my perspective, is I have to do some sort of reconstruction, or the firm has to do some sort of accident reconstruction or biomechanical analyses. And then after we have a better understanding of kind of the math and the science, then when we work with MotionLit, they basically are utilizing that information to ensure that their animations ultimately follow that process. For some cases, there's a lot of information there. So there may be police reports, photographs, repair estimates, medical records, testimony from doctors, testimony from people involved in the case. We give all that information to MotionLit. They turn it into an animation, then we kind of just go back and forth. And then from there, then we can actually dive deep into things. And that's basically to see whether it is accurate and whether it's representative of the accident in question. When reconstructing a car crash, it's very important not to exaggerate any sort of component within the animation, but rather simply present it as scientifically valid as possible. To present that is obviously a little bit challenging, but if we're actually able to reconstruct the accident, there's the speeds at which the cars were moving, the change in velocity of the car, the duration in which the force was applied to the individual who's driving the car, how that person moved, their pre-existing health history, then that will give the jury a good representation as to how that individual interacts with the car, and then ultimately how he may respond to an accident. It will give a better understanding as to whether that particular accident could have led to injury. Hiring MotionLit absolutely adds value to the case. I don't really have concern that what they're going to present is going to be inaccurate, because they work to ensure its accuracy. What stands out about them is their attention to detail and their communication. They are very, very keen on making sure what they do is accurate. So they may go back and forth with me 10, 15 times, whether it's just via email or a quick phone call, to ensure that everything's accurate. This field affects people's livelihoods. It affects people's money, it affects people's health. If we have such a strong stake in that, and we have such a high influence on people's health and people's livelihoods, people's financial stability, then we have to do the best job that we can do from an expert perspective. So we take our jobs very seriously. So we expect that the animators take their jobs very seriously as well, so that they can create something that is visually appealing, but most importantly, that is actually representative of the accident in question. So integrity is number one, to ensure that the process itself is never shortchanged. I already tell everybody about MotionLit. I already tell them to use them. I think they're very good, but I also think they're affordable and they work with you. And then they also do it in a timely fashion. Sometimes you just get cases the last second, or all those cases or those depositions, those trials may be jam-packed within a very short period of time. You know, you're scrambling a little bit. You're kind of working around the clock to make sure that everything's accurate in every respective case, keeping everything in line. So when you have the opportunity to create or have an animation developed to represent the case, you obviously want to jump at that opportunity, but you're always hesitant to, because of kind of the additional time it will take or the fear that it won't be inaccurate. But if those fears are quelled, and that you know that it's going to come out accurate, and you have like a working rapport with the people that you're working with, and you're certain of the quality of the work, then absolutely it takes quite a bit of a load off. And I've come to MotionLit, and specifically Vahe and Vache, and I told them I need something within a week. They always come through. I'm far more prone to use MotionLit because I know that's the case. And as they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So if you are able to create an animation that actually visually represents the accident accurately, then obviously that's worth much more than 1,000 words at least. So ultimately, lawyers should use MotionLit because they can actually present the information that is challenging to present to a jury. Obviously, when there's a lot of moving parts, there's times in which parts can fall or fail. Fortunately, when working with MotionLit, I find that that's never the case.